This is Just a Thought, episode number 24, The Mess I'm In. Hi! Do you ever just throw in the towel, so to speak, lay down on the couch, and stare at it all? If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. All of it. The Cheerios on the floor. The piles of laundry on the bed. And maybe on the floor. The empty bags of chips on the coffee table. The stacks of dishes. The fingerprints everywhere. The toys. The shoes that lay around out in the open until you need to find them. And then they're just gone. And that hopeless feeling. Sometimes it feels like we're drowning in luxury. One of the things that helps me get through these dilemmas as a mom, and just as a human, is to watch my stinking thinking, like Fly Lady recommends. So as I read my thoughts for the podcast this week, I thought, this kind of sounds like I'm saying the same thing I've said before. And I kind of am, but it has taken me 5 years to really start to understand the model. So if you're like me, this repetition will help you. Our thoughts create our lives, and we have so much agency and power as we use them intentionally. So let's find a circumstance that's getting me down and find out what thoughts are hanging around with that circumstance. My messy house, for instance. So what I want to do first is question my thoughts about the circumstance I've chosen. What if I'm wrong? Is it possible that my house isn't actually messy? Do I believe that? Nope. I really think it's messy. Well, what do I want? I want it clean. Is there anyone that would think about this situation differently than I do? Maybe? Pretty sure everyone would think my house is a mess. Well, what do I want to feel instead of what I'm feeling right now? I want to feel peaceful, in control, creative, happy, clean. So this is how we start to just wiggle our thoughts around and make a little room for the idea that we can change what we're thinking and find some peace and some logic and all the emotion without even changing the circumstance, without even picking up any of the garbage. So when I don't like the way my days are going or the look of my house, I write the circumstance down. The boring fact, right? Here's the circumstance. The circumstance is not, I have a messy house. That's my thought about it. The facts are, I have a house. I have stuff in it. I have 2 daughters, a dog, and a husband that live with me in the house. Then I get to go to the thoughts section. This is the fun section. That's where I get to go crazy and write down all my opinions about these things that I have. You know, whether I think that my house is messy, or whether I think that I have a lot of stuff, or whether I think I need to get more organized, or whether I think people should clean up after themselves. All of those things are thoughts. Often in this section, I'll write my feelings too. Feelings come next in the model, but I usually just put it all in the download. I think that my house is messy, that all that stuff in it is too much, or not getting put where it should. I think I should clean it. I feel overwhelmed. There's too much to do. I can't do it all. I shouldn't do it all. I think my husband and children should help me. I think my husband thinks I should do everything. And then I look at the questions. That's interesting. Why do I think that? Has he said that I should do it all? Has he inferred it? How? Maybe he never said or inferred it. Maybe he did. Either way, when I start getting into other people's models, my intentional response is, he might think that. What do I think even if he does think that? Do I agree? Do I disagree? Do I like my reasons and my results? Then I look at all my thoughts and I ask the questions I mentioned before. Thought, I think my house is messy. A lot. Thought, it should be clean more often than it is. That's an interesting thought. So how do I measure the amount of time for it to be messy? When is it allowed to be messy and when is it not allowed to be messy? Does it always need to be clean 100% of the time, like no one lives there? Or is it okay for a little bit of mess sometimes? And what are those times? When is it okay? How do I define mess? Do I like my definition? Do I like my reasons? Would anyone disagree with my thoughts? Do I like what I think? So as we air out our thoughts, so to speak, like this, it helps us declutter them and be more intentional more clear and a little more honest about what we really think. And that gives us a lot of momentum and power to create new results if we want them. Also, when my thoughts are derogatory, especially about myself, I really like to question them. Thoughts like, I'm so bad at this game, I'll never figure this out, I can't do this, I'm so stupid, I'm bad at everything, I'm so disorganized. These are not very useful thoughts because they just make me feel bad about myself and like I'm incapable of changing or that I'm a problem. And that's one thing that I want you all to think with me, is that our worth never changes. We are of divine worth. And so because of that, it doesn't matter whether we live in a messy house or no house at all. Our worth stays the same. So after I've done a thought download and looked at what feelings each thought generates, I decide what I want to feel and what I'm ready to create. I still have the same circumstance. I have a house, I have stuff in it, I have 2 daughters, a dog, and a husband that live with me in the house. But my thoughts about them are cleaner now, lighter, decluttered. My evolved thoughts look and feel different than they did before. Now I think I have things that I love. I love the people I live with. Sometimes we make messes. We can clean them up. I can spend my time however I want to. I can clean if I want to, and I don't have to. Anything I want is available for me. I can get rid of things I don't want. I can let them go. I can choose to do hard things consistently to get the results I want. If someone with nothing was given my home, they might have different thoughts about my stuff. They might feel excited and grateful about my stuff. They might say, wow, this stuff is so useful. Oh, this is so cool. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. But notice, all those phrases are thoughts. They're like hats. They come on and off. They serve different purposes and motivate different results. Some are useful, some aren't, for different moments and different people. So then I choose my favorite thoughts. And I start focusing on creating what I want to think and feel about my habits, my home, my family, and myself. It's super fun. Give it a try. This is Christina Stead. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. He loves you. He loves me, and he loves us. This is Just a Thought, a podcast for parents willing to change their mind and change their lives.